Hello, and welcome to Your United Way, a show all about connecting you with your community. My name is Ashley Wright. I'm the Executive Director for the United Way here in Paducah and McCracken County, and I'm also the host for today's show. As many of us have ventured into 2010, we've also stopped thinking about our New Year's resolutions and started focusing our attention on taxes. Tax season is upon us, and for many of us, perhaps most of the people in our community, this is a frustrating and often expensive experience. But there is help for people in our community, and it's local and it's free for many of us. And we're here today to talk with Sandy Meredith and Roger Kellner, who are with the AARP free tax preparation sites, and with Lisa Heine, who is our Marketing and Communications Director with the United Way. We're very happy to have you all here today. Now, tell us a little bit about what the AARP is doing around these tax aid sites.
Leslie, the AARP is operated by the AARP Foundation, and this program is worked in conjunction with the IRS, and over a period of time they've been doing this, and presently I think last year we had maybe 35,000 counselors and volunteers, and we did maybe something like 2,600,000 returns.
Wow.
So it's a pretty widespread organization.
Now, why did the two of you all get involved in this?
Well, I got into it a number of years ago, basically because there was an indication in the press that they needed some volunteers. And I had just retired, and I thought, what a better way to spend my time is helping others. So basically, I stepped up to the plate, and I'm still at it.
Wonderful.
And he got me into it.
He drug you in?
He drugged me in a year after I retired from Westvaco. And we've been doing it, I've been doing it for probably 12 or 13 years. And I find it very, it's nice to be able to help people who need help and can't afford to pay to have their taxes done. And it also keeps your mind active. You have to do a lot of work and study, and so.
What is, when we think of AARP, we think of senior citizens, many of us, but what particular group of people are you all able to help with these free tax sites?
When this program started, it was called Tax Care for the Elderly. TCE was the initials they went by, but when e-filing came into vogue, IRS started working with them, and this program has been extended to not only include seniors, but low and moderate income people. It's to provide a public service to a broad spectrum of the population.
Now, how many of you locally are providing this service?
Well, in Western Kentucky area, there's probably approximately 25 individuals involved.
And do you all have to have any special training for this?
Yes, we do. We have to, every year, we get study books. We have to learn all the new things that have changes to the tax laws. We have to take a test every year and pass that test to be certified by the IRS. I'm one of the instructors for this area, and I have to go to school for 3 days in December every year, and then come back and teach the 20-some people in our area for 5 days in January.
So it's a pretty intense
yes.
training to go through. And do you have consistent volunteers? Have these been the same 20, 25 folks for the last several years, or are these new people?
Most of them are repeat people. They are, I think for the most part, are very dedicated people. They enjoy doing it, much like we do. And but many of them being seniors and retired, occasionally there's some that drop off, and we're constantly seeking new recruits. We're anxious to get new people. The more people we have, the more we can do. So anytime we have an opportunity to add somebody to our staff, we're delighted.
Now, what if somebody is listening right now and says, "Well, I've got some time. I want to be able to volunteer." Do they have to have had, accounting experience, or what are you looking for when you're looking for someone to volunteer?
They don't necessarily have to have accounting experience, but certainly it would help. They have to be pretty computer literate, because everything we do is computerized now. Basically just really understand the time involved and be able to have some computer skills and be able to pick up and learn the tax law information.
So if somebody is interested, and I guess this year it's probably too late to volunteer because I'm sure your folks are getting trained or in the process at this time, but if next year, where would people contact, or who would people contact to get involved?
Well, it'd be very helpful if they contacted either Sandy or myself. We'd be grateful, and we're right here in the phone book in Paducah.
Okay.
And we'd be very interested in talking with them, see what their interest is, and then going through the steps that we need to make them qualified counselors.
And I'll go ahead and say that we have a volunteer coordinator at the United Way, so if anybody is interested in getting involved in helping next year, they can contact our office and speak with our volunteer coordinator, and she can connect them with either of you to try to get them connected. Tell me, what if someone is questioning whether they even need to file their taxes this year?
If they would stop by our sites, we would take a quick look, rather than have them wait for a long period of time. We could take a quick look and see if they have enough to qualify, because there are minimums at which point they don't need to qualify to file a tax return. So we could take a quick look and see what they needed.
What would someone need to bring to be prepared to have their taxes done at one of your sites? What are the basic things they need with them?
Do you want to address that?
Last year's return, first of all, which is real helpful. Another thing they need to bring is if they pay real estate taxes, they need to bring that information. A lot of people do not bring that because they don't have enough to itemize deductions. But this year you're allowed to add the real estate taxes to your standard deduction.
Okay.
So anyone who files taxes and has real estate taxes can use it. Also, if they bought a brand new car this year, they're allowed to take the sales tax on that.
Just a brand new car?
A brand new car, right?
Okay. So they need to bring all that information, and I'm assuming ID and all of that.
Social Security cards and everything.
Okay. And if someone gets there and they don't have some of those materials, what do you all do? Do you put them on hold, or?
We can sometimes we start their return, get it as much in the computer as they have with them, and then we can hold that information, and they come back later and we finish it.
And when are you all starting these sites?
The first site opens up on Monday, February 1. We usually wait till February, and this year it starts right on the first day.
Okay.
So we'll be up and running on February 1. And that will be at the Senior Center, Paducah McCracken County Senior Center, over on H.C. Mathis Drive. And then on Tuesday, the 2nd, we'll be at Jackson House. And then we're going to be starting a new Tuesday program at the Concord United Methodist Church. And that will be designed to pick up those people who are wage earners who can't get to us during the daytime. And that'll be an evening program from about 4 to 7, hoping that we can help a few of those people that just can't get to us during the day.
Sure.
On Wednesday and Thursday, Sandy is at the library, and your hours, I think, on Wednesday are 9 to 4.
9 to 4 Wednesday and 9 to 1 on Thursday.
Okay.
And when we say 9 to 4, that doesn't mean if someone walks in at 5 to 4, we'll do their return. We need to be closing up and get out of there shortly after 4. So You know, we'd like somebody to be there by 3:30, and they may not even be able to get in then because it depends how many people are ahead of them.
Now, we hear a lot about earned income credit. How does that relate to what you're doing?
The earned income credit's a tax. It's a refundable tax credit for people who work, and they have to work, but don't earn high incomes. And the purpose is to reduce their tax burden and supplement their wages. And they get this refund even if they don't owe any taxes, they still get this refund. And they have to be 25 years of age or older, up to 65, unless they have children. They can be younger than 25. How much they get depends on the amount they earn and the number of children they have. This year, they allow as high as 3 children to influence the amount of the earned income credit. Previous years, it was only 2. Now, what this works on a scale. The more you earn, the more you get in earned income credit to a point, and then it levels off and begins to go back down. So then at that point, the more you earn, the less you get to a point where it stops. Individuals married filing separately are not eligible for this. And earned income, it must be taxable wages or salaries, and anyone who has self-employment whose taxes we're able to do, that qualifies them. But pensions, Social Security, and investment income does not qualify you for earned income credit.
So they have to have earned income through work.
Right.
All right. Now, Lisa, you've been sitting over there very patiently. And, you know, I think it's been an important part of the United Way's mission to help those low-income and senior individuals in our community have really the basic building blocks for a good life. And how does the United Way partner with AARP in this process?
Well, I think this year we were very excited to learn a little bit more about the process. I think that there's, especially in these unique economic times that we're in, I think our community can greatly benefit from this service, maybe this year more than even in the past. When we met previously, I don't remember the exact number, but Sandy had mentioned a lot of money that went unclaimed in the past few years, and there are recipients, possible recipients here, you know, in our area that could receive that money that could greatly impact our community.
So the United Way and AARP obviously are working together to make sure that the message gets out that anybody who is low income or senior citizens can come by one of these sites and certainly at least let you all take a look at their taxes. Now, are there any groups that you cannot work with?
Well, we have a scope that we have to stay within, and when we're only trained and certified to do certain types of returns. And I wanted to point out that we can't help all seniors.
Okay.
Because some seniors have levels of income or complicated investments or things that we're not trained to do. And what we do in those cases, we look at what they have and then we tell them that we're sorry, but we're not trained or certified to help you, and then suggest they go to a paid provider.
Okay. And I also want to mention that if you contact our office, which is 442-1691, we will have a list of all of the tax prep sites and times here in Paducah and McCracken County, and make sure that you all know when you can go. Can they expect a wait?
That's a good question. At Rogers' site on Mondays at the Senior Citizen Center, they do take reservations. At the other sites, they're basically all first come, first served. And if someone thinks or knows they're going to owe taxes, or they can wait a little while for their refund, I would suggest they wait till a little later in the tax season, because the first few weeks at my site at the library it's very, very busy. And people do have to wait several hours sometimes.
Well, I appreciate so much what you all are doing in the community and what you're helping to give back to people in this community. And I hope that this has been helpful for those of you who are listening. If you know somebody or if you yourself qualify for these services, we hope you'll take advantage of them. Thank you, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Your United Way. We're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about something that I am really passionate about, which is how we reinvest the money that we've raised during our annual campaign back out into the community. And very fortunate to have Kerri Brotherson here with us. She works for Paducah Bank, but she is one of our very favorite volunteers at the United Way, and you do a lot of things for us, Kerri. But perhaps one of the most important is your leadership in our Community Investment Committee, which is the committee that helps to decide how the money is allocated back into the community. So thank you for being here.
Sure, thank you.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about what the community investment process is? I know I get a lot of questions and there's a lot of misconceptions about how that money is allocated back into the community through through partner agencies. People think that I get to decide how that money is allocated, or our staff, or I even get calls sometimes that maybe our national United Way makes those decisions. And so I'm hoping you can shed a little bit of light for those viewers that might not be familiar with the process.
Sure. Well, fortunately, all the money that comes into United Way, we have a panel that we ask for volunteers. So if you've made a donation to United Way, we ask for volunteers to come and participate on our community investment panel. Typically, I think we look for around 40 volunteers to come. We divide them up into 3 groups. Typically, a group will have 12 to 15. We have a training session to kind of let them go in, and they receive packets of the different partner agencies that they'll be visiting that have applied for the funds. And so we don't make decisions of who gets the money, what nonprofit. They have to apply to us and say they have the need. They qualify as a partner agency to get those funds. And so there's training, you receive binders, so you're not out there blindly trying to figure out what's going on. But they're all community members, all different walks of life that come in and volunteer on these panels. It's a 2-day process. We have a site visit day where we go to the partner agencies and actually visit their site, see what they do, why they're asking for the money, and what their need is. The second day we have a budget hearing, which the partner agencies will come in and they tell us about their budget. We look at their last fiscal year, so we're looking at what they did the previous year, how they ran their budget, where they had shortfalls, what kind of need they're anticipating for the next year, and why they're asking for those funds, where those funds are going to be used. So of course this year, with 2009 being a difficult economic year, I think the budget hearings this year are going to be interesting, and there's probably going to be a lot more need and a lot more agencies asking for more dollars, just because I believe they've probably helped a lot more people in 2009.
Yeah.
And we'll see those numbers increase during those budget hearings.
When you go into the site visit, so you're going to the agencies that have applied, what specifically are you looking for? What are you checking out when you're there?
When we go to a site visit, you want to see that they have a welcoming atmosphere. You want to see that they have clean conditions, that they're taking care of their assets. We don't want to see them being negligent with their assets, but yet asking us to give them money to use to help people. If they're not being good stewards of their own organization, it makes us put into question whether they'll be good stewards of the United Way funds they're asking for. So we want to see them take care of the assets that they do have. A lot of partner agencies don't have a lot of assets, and they don't have huge budgets, and so if they're good stewards with their own funds that they get in, then that's a positive sign to show that they'll take care of the funds and use those in the appropriate way that they're given.
And when you talk about this committee that goes in between 40 and 50 people, what if someone's looking and says, I'd like to be involved in that, what do they have to do to be involved? Do they have to have some, background with the United Way, or do they have to have some, accounting background to be able to do the budget hearing?
Not at all. They come from all walks of life. We have attorneys, there's bankers, there are people that come from USEC, there are people that have been on the committee for 5 years, 10 years, and every year there's usually 10 or 15 people that have never done it before. And it's great because you go across a wide variety of the community, and you get different people's perspectives on what their ideas are for the organization, but absolutely no accounting experience, no experience with United Way, just wanting to help the community and help them help make a difference with United Way, and hopefully gain more information and background on what United Way does. So I think if you wanted to become involved, you could call our local United Way office and let them know that you would like to be on the community investment panel. They'd be more than happy to accommodate that.
Now, how long have you been participating in the community investment panel?
This will be my 8th year.
Wow.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that, but yes.
How did you first start getting involved with the United Way?
I think when I had been at the bank, we've always been fortunate at Paducah Bank and have always donated to United Way and been big supporters. And I had been at the bank a couple of years, probably 2 years, and several people are always very involved, and it kind of passes through. And someone asked me if I might be interested in being on the community investment panel. I, like probably a lot of people in the community, had a general idea of what United Way did, knew that we helped less fortunate in the community, but that was about the extent of it. So my first year was a very eye-opening experience to go into the partner agencies, to see actually what services they provide, who they are helping specifically, and where all the dollars do go. I think there's a lot of people in the community that don't know that, and just by happen chance, someone asked me if I might like to do that, and it was a very eye-opening experience, a very humbling experience to see all the nonprofits out there and who all they do help. You just don't realize, and I think a lot of people don't realize where all the money does go.
Why do you keep coming back to this particular community investment committee?
Well, like I said, the first year was a humbling experience. It was a very rewarding experience to see all the different partner agencies and what all they were doing. So the first couple years coming back was just, it was very rewarding. Now it has become part of me, I think. I look forward to it. I feel I'm very interested in what those partner agencies do throughout the year, where they started out, where they've come from, just as long as I've been a part of them. A lot of them have grown and made great strides, and it's interesting, and it's just a part of who I am. I think I would miss it if I wasn't a part of the investment panel.
Do you continue to be surprised by what you see each year, or is it something where you kind of, you expect the need and so it's not as surprising?
Well, ever since I've done the investment panel, I believe each year, all of the nonprofits, it seems as if they help more and more people every year. They may turn away more and more people every year. The need is always there and growing, and I anticipate it's going to have grown quite a bit this past year. But I am surprised at how a lot of them are able to help. A lot of the organizations have gone under new leadership over the years, and it's been interesting to see somebody else's take on it and someone taking an organization to a different level. But I am always surprised, and you are always shocked to see the number of people out there that do need help and ask for help. And that just, the mind-boggling part is those are the ones that ask for help. And that's a small percentage of probably the ones that are too proud to ask for help and go search for that help.
One of the things that I I loved about the United Way before I even came to it was how community focused it is, that the decisions about funding aren't made in some city far away or even by one individual, but by an entire community. And I think that is certainly unique to nonprofits, that the community gets to kind of have a voice in how their dollars are spent, and that's not always the case. Do you think that people in this community really understand the amount of need that there is?
I really don't. Just like when I began with the Community Investment Panel, I knew there were different agencies out there, but I really didn't know the names of those agencies. I knew there were food pantries. I had no idea there was someone that provided free dental care for emergency dental procedures. Had no idea that there was a day nursery. Had no idea there was someone going out helping senior citizens fix things in their homes so they could stay in their homes longer. Just a huge amount of nonprofits that are out there doing wonderful things, and I really had no idea of those needs, that they were in our community, that there were homeless in our community. I think we live in a wonderful small community. I think we're very good donators to all kinds of causes within our community. We're very fortunate with that, but it also masks to where walking down the street or driving down the street, you don't see that need, and you don't see the welfare, and so I think a lot of people in the community might think we're immune to that because it's not in your face smacking you.
Right.
But whenever you are part of the Community Investment Panel, or you do look into it a little bit deeper, you'll see there is a huge amount of need out there consistently, and it. These United Way helps. The more dollars that we can get, we'll go as far as we can. But it is kind of hidden, I believe, in our community.
Well, I really appreciate what you do, and I hope that donors understand that give to the United Way, that you really have an opportunity to have ownership and direction in how these monies are donated throughout our community. And we believe that at the United Way that this community is the expert in the needs in our community. You live here, we live here, and we appreciate the time that you volunteer. We appreciate all the support of Paducah Bank and that they allow their staff to be so involved in what we do in the community, and we're very grateful for everything you've done throughout the years. Thank you, Kerri.
Thank you.
And if you're interested in getting more involved in the community investment process, please contact us at the United Way at 442-1691. Thank you.